This build belongs to Fwip. I stole it, but it's okay. I'm a raccoon, so it's mine now. Hey! Welcome back to another episode on CypherCraft. And this episode is going to be a special one. It's going to be a little different, and that is all thanks to my beautiful community members over on Discord. They actually voted for this episode to happen, so shout out to you guys. But if you are looking for a small community to join and want to be involved in the decision making of this channel and our humble little world, then feel free to stop on by and join the Chaos Critters community. The link is in the description down below. Shameless self-promotion out of the way. However, we are actually not going to be over here for much longer because we have some fun plans for today's episode. So I was going through some of Eric's things and I found a few things. The first one I found was this chronolume, and he was working on a way to navigate the folds. So if you are new to the channel, this world is slowly decaying and dying because of Caden, a powerful entity that we were barely able to destroy just a few episodes ago. The fabric of space that surrounds this reality is weakening and falling apart. However, through these folds, we can then access neighboring worlds and realities. And Eric was studying this before he died. However, with this, we should be able to control the folds, or at least be able to navigate them a lot easier. The second thing that I found were these schematics, and these are schematics for a time machine. And yeah, I wanted to go ahead and use these to travel back to the beginning, to show you guys my progression as a builder and how I took the flames of inspiration from other YouTubers and other Minecrafters to learn, grow, and develop my own style. And I kind of wanted to show you guys kind of the process of what worked for me. Obviously it is different for everyone, but I thought it was an interesting topic, and hopefully there are some tips and tricks that you guys are then able to take from this. However, time travel is not that simple, and we're definitely not dressed for the occasion, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drop you guys off right here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get dressed real quick. Just stay there, and whatever you do, don't look behind that dresser. Alright, just don't. Trust me. Alright, cool. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go ahead and yep, this one or this one? I think this. Ooh, yeah, that one looks good. That's nice. Oh, why is there never any tail holes in these? Wait, hold up. Ah, that's better. Ooh, that looks really good. Alright. Huh? Oh, you guys are a little far away. What you think? Oh, this looks so good. It's so snug. I love it. Is the scarf too much? Maybe the scarf is too much. I'm not sure. But, no, I think we're ready. So let's go ahead and pick you guys up real quick. And yeah, now we need to head off to the monolith. And we have reactivated it since we defeated Caden, so it is now working once again. So yeah, we built the time machine in the basement of the monolith because for those who don't remember or who didn't watch This is basically acting as a tuning fork, which then gives us access to the folds. And hey buddy, yeah, it should be receiving enough energy. I'm not sure though. This was pretty, difficult to put together, but I followed Eric's design as best as I could. So, yeah, I'm sorry buddy, you can't come with. I know, I'm sorry. But this is too dangerous and I can't afford something to happen to you, okay? So just hold down the fort and I'll be back before you know it. Alright? I promise. Good boy. Alright, so I guess it's time. I'm so nervous. Alright, let's do this. Goodbye, buddy. I won't be long, I promise. Alright, so everything should be set, and now all we have to do is... Alright, here goes nothing. Oh, I hope this doesn't explode. Oh. Did it work? Where are we? I think we went the wrong direction. Oh, sheesh. Yeah, let's try that again. Let's see, 7, 8. Alright, let's try that again. Oh, that worked. Oh, this looks familiar. Oh, this is it! Oh wait, you know what, we should probably take this. I don't want to leave this here. This looks familiar. It worked! Oh, we made it! Oh, we made a big crater. Oops. Yeah, we can terraform this. It's fine. Oh, home, sweet home. Oh, how I've missed you. Oh, welcome everyone to Lagos. Oh, it feels so good to be back. Oh, oh, how I've missed this place so much. However, we should start at the beginning. This is not our first survival world. In fact, we have had several of them throughout the years. Unfortunately, we no longer have access to them. So this world could be considered our long-term forever world, if you will. And so yeah, that's kind of what we did. This was our starter base, this build right here. And yeah, as you can tell, our building style was very, yeah, cottage core, I guess would be the style for it. And this was, yeah, our building wasn't that great, our building style. And yeah, I kind of wanted to get back into building. I built a lot of medieval styled building and kind of wanted to get away from that. However, I wasn't that great of a builder. I mean, I'm not that great of a builder now. I'm definitely better than what I was. However, yeah, copper just came out, as you can tell. Everything is copper around here. But yeah, I wanted to learn how to build, and this was a huge challenge for me. And so I was playing a lot with shapes and stuff like that, as you can tell. And yeah, this was kind of a place for me to kind of try to play with stuff. These bushes are really weird. I kind of like them. We might actually steal these and bring these back to CypherCraft. There's probably going to be a lot of elements we take back with us, but yeah. But yeah, if we come inside, as you can tell, interiors, I still struggle with interiors. Nothing in here This was the kitchen. There's no interiors whatsoever. Still something I struggle with. Hello, who are you? I have no idea who you are because you don't have names. This was our storage? What the heck? Single barrels. What was I doing with my life? What's upstairs? Yeah, no interior. Sheesh. Okay, I have improved a little bit since then, but yeah. Oh my goodness, look at this! It's a Scheiss house! With a little moon door? I mean, okay, that's a little bit weird that, yeah, the opening doesn't move with the door, but oh, we're definitely taking that with us. Oh, that's neat. That's a cool detail, I like that. Alright, I had to drop my render distance because I was getting 4 frames, so sorry about that. But yeah, then we went and we started building a little bit bigger, but yeah, as you can tell, my builds are very, very small. I usually build very small scale. That's something that I still do. I usually don't build very big. I usually like building very small scale and then just building a lot of small buildings together. And then all these small builds kind of just add up to build kind of a mega build. And so yeah, this was the next build over here. This is our kind of our super smelter, but as you can tell, it's the same design with the mushroom and the granite and then the calcite and stuff. Again, a lot of copper, but yeah, again, it's this really weird design, this really weird shape, especially with the roof. It's a very weird but very plain shape again. Nothing too fancy, nothing too interesting to look at. And then yeah, on the inside we just have a very simple super smelter. And then we have our villager trading hall where we can get all of our books, all of our tools and armor and stuff like that. We also have a few automatic farms which automatically funnel over in this section. Yeah, we have our breeding hall down here and a few more various farms in these buildings over yonder. As well with a few farming buildings. Yeah, we have a few farms tucked down here as well. Very, very, very simple farms. We also have a moss farm over here and a dripstone farm over there. But one thing that I did like to add was a lot of vegetation, a lot of farms and stuff. However, yeah, as you can see, I did not add a lot of terraforming. So all of the buildings didn't have any terraforming added around them. So they were kind of just plopped on top of the ground. So yeah, there was no like life added to them. So it didn't really fit that well. So yeah, that definitely did change as we progressed. I mean, here there's a little bit of a retaining wall. So there's a little bit of terraforming there. A little bit here as well. But I mean, with this pond, there's no terraforming going on there. There's no rocks or anything like that. No, yeah, terraforming with the dirt. It's just one type of dirt there. Yeah, we have our sanctuary here. This is our first bee sanctuary, by the way. Yeah, there's just one type of grass in here. Very, very simple. Over here, by the way, this lagoon, this giant lake, this is actually a naturally generated structure. This is actually the main reason why we ended up living over here. And this is actually really cool. This is actually the lore behind this area. So yeah, the lore goes as follows. City or civilization, we harvest a bunch of resources, a bunch of materials. Yeah, and these portals are then portals to other realms where then ships are able to come by to then barter for, yeah, goods and services. So yeah, that's kind of the lore of this area. But yeah, I thought that was neat. We also have other plants and stuff like that, but yeah, like I said, the terraforming is pretty much non-existent. What's this? The 777 challenge from 2022. I actually don't remember what this was. This shrine marks the 7th IRL day since the conception of Lagos. The 7 heads of the 7 tormented souls to bring 7 years of fortune to the lands. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is when we had to Yeah, 7 IRL days. Then we had to defeat the dragon, the elder guardian, the gas, the charge creeper, the ravager, the blaze, and the wither. That was actually really, really fun. Oh, that was fun. We had to like, yeah, give ourselves extra challenges and stuff. However, if you do watch other, YouTubers, Minecraft YouTubers, this build behind me might look somewhat familiar. This build belongs to Fwip. I stole it, but it's okay. I'm a raccoon, so it's mine now. However, this is actually a great way of how I learned how to build. As I was starting out, textures, gradients, scale, I can't spell, so I don't know what those mean. But what I'd do is I'd look at a build off of YouTube and copy one face of it block for block. Tedious, yes, and there are probably better ways of doing it. However, by doing so, I am able to slowly understand how the blocks correlate and interact with one another and actually get inside the builder's head. In this case, Fwip's head. And try to understand why he used them there. Now, obviously, a lot of building and gradients is randomization. However, you will see examples of this later on in my megabase, where random randomization and blotchy randomization are two completely different things, and they can completely make or break a build. But with this build in particular, if we zoom in, enhance, we can see how this gradient works with the warmer, earthier tones that are random, but the randomness is bunched together in their own block categories, and the gradient rises from the earthy brown to a brilliant and rich brick red. Also, if you notice, above the main gate there is no terracotta. In this build, terracotta represents weather damage, but because of this lip right there, the facade is protected, so the granite wouldn't be worn down and smoothed out. So yeah, a nice little detail. And I also love Fwip's addition of the dripstone for the roof because it plays in the illusion of adding verticality and also, I mean, spikes. That's pretty genius. And then lastly, note how the sandstone and the diorite are positioned. They are separate buildings, but they contrast so that it doesn't look like one giant brick blob. So that's also something to keep in mind, and something that I also learned. So I learned so much from building this. Usually I only copy the front facade for learning. For this build in particular, I think I copied a little bit more. I don't remember exactly how much was copied, but once I have a good grasp of what's going on, I can then take that knowledge and complete the rest of the build by myself, implementing what I've learned and yeah, seeing what comes out of it. But yeah, then I did try to kind of up my decoration skills. Nothing too fancy, everything's pretty basic. We put in a nice iron floor though, I really like this. However, for the interiors, yeah, they're still pretty bland. We just put a giant staircase in. We could have divided this up into several floors, put in different walls and rooms and stuff to make this fancy. However, yeah, I really struggled with interiors. In fact, I still do. So that is something that I'm still trying to work on. But we do have a nice mural up there of, are those worms? I have no idea what those are supposed to be. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Once we finished this castle area and we finished putting up the walls, we ended up moving on to our next base where we could then start a new style of building. So let's go ahead and warp on over there. And welcome to Murkdale. This is our second base on our world, and yeah, we can just jump on down here. There we go. And yeah, this was is a interesting base. Yeah, if we jump out here, you can see that the style is completely different. I'm not sure what to call this. This is a mix of Greek Pantheon cottage. I don't know. I don't know, but I like this. This was a lot of fun to put together. I was playing a lot with depth in this one. As you can see, the facade is 4 deep. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then yeah, 4 if you count like the buttons and this outer slab and stuff like that. So we're dealing with a lot of depth, and that helps us to add a lot of detail. However, also allows us to play with lighting. So as you can see down here, it is a lot darker. Because yeah, we're able to play with the light and stuff like that, and that just adds a lot of cool forced shadows that we can add into the build, and I think that's really, really cool. We do have a little bit of gradient up at the top, however, yeah, overall there's not much of that going on, so yeah, we didn't have to deal too much with that. But then we did go ahead and we started making a little bit of terraforming work out here, a little bit of a custom biome. This isn't my first custom biome, but it's one of the biggest custom biomes, one of the biggest natural custom biomes that I've done. And I think it turned out okay. It looks pretty natural. I'm really liking the way that it was turning out. It was just taking a lot of time to get it to look all right, to get all the curves right and have it kind of flow down. I kind of wanted the water damage, so like the water erosion, to make sense and stuff, so that was pretty hard to make it look good. And then we have some of these dead trees kind of just sticking out sporadically. But yeah, we're also dealing with, because the buildings are so bright because of the sandstone, we have to make the terraforming job, the terrain, pretty dark, so that can contrast pretty nicely. But yeah, this right here is kind of our main hall area. Oh yeah, one thing, because our facade is so deep, because we're dealing with 4 blocks deep, that does mean that we don't have that much space on the inside, so that's why this build has to be so giant. But yeah, this room right here is kind of just the portal room. I mean, it's massive just to house the portal. But then we have a few farms over this way. On this side, we have a little bit of a storage room, all manual, but yeah, it did its job. Yeah, one thing, the vibe I was kind of going for this area was that the biome was going to be completely uninhabitable, and then we were going to have kind of like this not futuristic, but kind of like this lush area where we're kind of keeping this area alive. So there's kind of like a very harsh difference of greenery on this side, and then everything's dead on this side, and I thought that was kind of, yeah, interesting to mess around with. And then, yeah, we have a little bit of a map of the island. We have our bonjour. We have our villager trading hall, which we didn't really get far with because we didn't stay here long enough, unfortunately. And then a little bit of, oh yeah, this was our research library. This is when the Deep Dark got released, so we were collecting all the blocks, doing a bunch of research and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a shame we never got to finish this place. And yeah, I got pretty burnt out with this area, to be honest, just because everything was the same. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this style. I mean, I think it's really, really unique, and I just love how, yeah, everything kind of merges together with the birch and the sandstone and the moss. I think it looks really, really cool. It looks very elegant. However, yeah, everything is kind of the same, and I just got bored really, really easily. And you'll see that in my next base, in the mega base, how I have multiple projects going on with multiple different styles going on. So that way, if I do get burnt out with one particular style, then I can just drop that project and then pick up on a different project. But with this area, I wanted a different pace. I wanted to, yeah, start a new project, and then, yeah, I just never came back to this place, unfortunately. But I think this is also a good example of, you don't always need, you know, overly textured builds and stuff like that. Like, this is really simple. There's the only texture gradient is up there. This is all repeating patterns and stuff like that, but it still looks pretty good. I mean, we could maybe add a few planks in here or something like that, maybe throw in sand down here just for a little bit of weathering and stuff like that. But overall, you don't really need that much, and it would still look fine. So yeah, keeping it simple is also something that, yeah, has its merits. But then down here is, yeah, as you can see, this is when I started getting bored and I wanted to start playing around with other designs. I'm not entirely sure where this came from. I saw this in a video. I'm not sure if it was Corralis's video or Mythical Sausages or Joel's. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I just wanted to play around with this style, kind of create like a little bit of a slum area and just have fun making these blocks and putting them together and stuff like that. However, this was way beyond my skill at the time, and even today this is still probably beyond my skill. I could probably put this together today, however, not in survival. I would probably have to do this in creative first, and look at all the blocks available, put it together, and then recreate it in survival. But just all the details, all the different block combos and palettes and stuff, it's pretty advanced. But yeah, I do have several other smaller bases hidden all throughout the world, just like small projects that I started and then abandoned. However, the main base, our mega base, is where I ended up going to next. So let's go ahead and warp over there. And welcome to the Citadel. The first one. The original Citadel. Voila. And yes, this is where my building started to progress, where I started to learn a lot about building from the big guy himself, B00-100. A lot of this is from his build over on the CypherCraft server. This front of the build right here, the crane, this part, this is mine, this is like part of this is his, the ship is his. It's confusing. Some of the aspects are his, but some of them are mine, and this goes back to what I was telling you guys in the beginning of the video, where I copied the front of the building and then I tried to continue in my own design and try to copy over what I learned and continue the build. So if you go back to his video, his build looks completely different. Granted, a lot better than mine, definitely. However, yeah, I just wanted to make a giant schlamassel, a giant mess basically, and just continue to build on and build on and build on. However, I just wanted to learn so much from him. And as you can see, in fact, you know what, we need to go into free cam for this. Yeah, bonjour. Yeah, as you can see, we are working with so many gradients. So the main building is white. However, as you can see by the lips, we are working with this stone deterioration that's happening at the bottom and at the top. And yeah, this is happening, yeah, at this lip as well. As you can see, we also have damage to the wall right here with these iron bars, and through that then we have the broken up wall bits here. That's just adding a lot of life to the build, which is something you can also do with this texturization, which I think is really, really cool. And also, where do we have examples of this? I believe, yeah, over here, like we have like water damage kind of dripping down just underneath this ledge, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, there's so much, it's impossible to fit this all in one episode, but there's so many details and examples of how you can use different types of texturization and gradient works to do certain types of things, to highlight certain things and stuff like that. These lights right here, these I took from Scar, Good Times with Scar. I'm using frog lights behind tinted glass. They don't emit light during night because tinted glass hides the light, obviously. However, it gives a really cool effect at nighttime. But yeah, just using different, like up here for the roof, we're not using random randomization, we're using blotchy randomization, and I think that's really cool how it just kind of cascades down from the top to the bottom of the roof. And yeah, Now over here, we did add a giant wind turbine. This is a little bit more futuristic. Right here is a great example of something that I wish I did different. If you're standing over here and you're looking up, it's really hard to actually see the wind turbine because everything is pure white. This is going back to Flip's build from the sandstone against the brick red. We need contrast here. So instead of this wall right here being white, this should have been a different color, just so the wind turbine would have stuck out a little bit better. That's something I wish I did a little bit different. But yeah, working with heights I think is something really cool. That's something that I was playing with here as well. Unfortunately I never finished this build. I got a little burnt out with this world, and then I ended up making the new world for my YouTube channel. But yeah, this build would have continued. We would have continued, yeah, just finishing off the build around this corner here, making it probably come up to this eye level about here, and then just having it, yeah, towering up a little bit higher, and yeah, just having different levels and different platforms and stuff like that, and I thought it would have looked really cool. However, yeah, I need to reduce my render distance because it's a little bit laggy here. But yeah, in here then, we did a lot of interior work. Yeah, I wanted this to feel like a citadel, a labyrinth, basically. So yeah, unfortunately the invisible item frames are no longer invisible. So this basically is a giant maze. So we have a giant labyrinth. This down here is the deep slate level. So yeah, we have our super smelter down here. We have our giant sorter system over here. This is the same sorter system we have in our CypherCraft world. It's just mirrored. So yeah, it's just flipped. Yeah, we have a nice little map of our world. And then we have a nice little potion brewer system. Yeah, we have, oh yeah, this was cool. We built a little mycelium destroyer. I think I was, yeah, inspired by Ren. I think it was Ren or Grian who didn't like mycelium or something, or the mycelium resistance or something. But yeah, basically we put mycelium here. It will then, yeah, push it into this area where then it will convert it into dirt, and then we can dig up the dirt over here. Really, yeah, simple. We don't get a lot out of it, but yeah, I thought it was funny to have. But then if we come up the stairs, we get more into the pristine kind of citadel part of the build. Yeah, we just have a bunch of different rooms up here. We have all our different farms, which is why it's so laggy. But we have a bunch of different rooms. Some of them are from B-Dubs. For example, this room is from B-Dub's video. Some of them, like, we did change up, so we do have like some of our own designs and stuff like that. But some of them, yeah, I just wanted to copy to kind of get an idea of how he does his interiors, so I could better mine as well. And then, yeah, I believe up here we have a little bit of a sheep farm in a futuristic style. Our villager trading hall, which is a very different style. Our library, which is a very futuristic style. And like I said, this is also something which kind of kept me motivated, is having many different styles. Back in our previous base, when it's all just one style, I get burnt out way too easily. And so having just multiple different styles, multiple different things going on, if I get burnt out with one style, I can jump over to the next and then continue building. Oh, there's Lagos. Nice. But that being said, this world was divided into districts. That was the plan for this world, so different districts have different building styles. So for example, we have the Citadel, which is the heart of our base, which is responsible for all of our farms. And then we have the slums, which would be responsible for all of the fishing and stuff like that. Now this is copied from Corralis's videos. Most of this is block by block. I think maybe this back building is mine. However, this was just way too advanced for me, to be completely honest. I mean, yeah, we're using gravel and dirt and brick and rooted dirt, just so many blocks. It's just, this is advanced. This is advanced texturing and gradients. I mean, just looking at all the different blocks and how everything just comes together is just absolutely beautiful. Even for me today, I can't do this. So this is definitely a huge amount of inspiration. This is what I aspire to do, and something that I kind of want to bring into CypherCraft as well. However, I don't think we're going to be able to do this anytime soon. And as you saw in Fwip's presentation, this is also the build from Mythical Sausage that we built. This is our villager trading hall. And the plan was to, completely fill out this entire area with these colorful styled houses and stuff. I thought this was a very beautiful design. Now, this is an example of a build that did not work out. That does not fit in this area whatsoever. I saw Suzuma building with bone blocks, and I was really inspired to give that a try. And I also wanted to try out playing with terracotta, because I never really played that much around with it, and it did not work. This did not work out at all. It does not fit into the area whatsoever. This is actually our museum for our world. Yeah, interiors, again, non-existent. As you can see, our Citadel has improved, like our Citadel and CypherCraft, I mean, for our museum part of it has improved dramatically. But yeah, this build is an example of what does not work. I should have torn this down and tried again, but I was like, I don't feel like it. But yeah, this did not work. And this build over here was also experimental. It also doesn't really work. I mean, it has something to it. It's very weird. The birch definitely doesn't really fit. I don't know what I was doing here. The sandstone definitely doesn't fit either. I wanted to play with the terracotta and the different white blocks and stuff. It's something. It has something to it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Minecraft's all about experimenting, so... However, yeah, with this, this is an example of random randomization. There is no shading. The randomization is completely random. There's no sense to it. There's no example of weather damage or water damage or anything like that, so it doesn't really make sense. And I think that's also a reason why the build looks really strange. But yeah, over here then is our farming district. I wanted to make it look a little bit more industrial. Bring in a lot of stone slabs, a little throwback to Mumbo, you know, because yeah, he loves the stone slabs. I do too. I mean, I think this fits in really, really well for the industrial look to it, but also keeping in a little bit of the natural look. So yeah, this looks really big. That's just because we have a huge mud, dirt, and clay and terracotta farm over here. I mean, it's absolutely massive, so we needed a massive facade to cover this all. But yeah, we never finished it. And then over here we started working on some terraforming, which I think looks pretty good. This was going to be the final result. It just took so long to put together that I just needed to take a break from it. But having these kind of dead trees and stuff like that, I think it would have looked so good if we actually finished this. I mean, oh man. Oh, this would look so good. And then yeah, we have a tree farm in here. I'm not sure what style this is, actually. A completely different style. But yeah, and here we have our tree farm. Just a really, really simple one where we just place our saplings on here and it gets bone mealed. And then we have a blast chamber over there. And then over here, I believe is... I don't remember what's actually... dripstone? Yes, dripstone. Nice. Yeah, and I really like this style. I'm not entirely sure what type of style it is entirely. But yeah, I think these turned out pretty cool, and I wanted this entire area to be the industrial area then, and kind of be, yeah, this style, with the bright oak and then the brick with this type of terraforming. And lastly, we have our Christmas district over there in the background. And this was actually my first Christmas in Minecraft that I was able to, yeah, really go out and full out decorate an area. And so yeah, that was really, really fun. And so yeah, I went out and I terraformed the entire area, and we made a nice little Christmas area. This was really, really fun to do. As you can see, we have these little snow blowers, which is why, yeah, this entire area is covered in snow. Oh, and that used to be my skin. I used to be a ring wraith because I'm a huge nerd for Lord of the Rings, but I'm a raccoon by heart. Always have been, always will be. And with Owen, just that I don't want to get into that right now. It's a sad story, but yeah. But yeah, this was just a fun little project. We have an ice skating rink and a nice little Christmas tree. Yeah, a nice little snow globe with a snowman in it. We have a little gingerbread house. I didn't make this myself. I think I found this on Pinterest or something like that. And then we have a little Christmas district with, yeah, different colored roofs and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, we have the Playboy Easter Bunny who's flipping everyone off because, yeah, I thought that was fitting. Yeah, a little igloo over here with polar bears, and then, yeah, a little stable for all of our horses and stuff. Yeah, nothing really too much to do with building in this area. This was more just for fun. But yeah, I thought this was a cool place in our world and stuff like that. This is also something we have to do in CypherCraft as well. Once it does become Christmas, we also need to make a little Christmas district in our area that we can celebrate Christmas together with. That'll be a lot of fun. Although, yeah, we should probably work on that a little bit early so that we can be done by the time Christmas actually rolls around. But yeah, that's awesome. Oh, what happened here? I guess I never finished that. But yeah, I know that this last area might have felt a little bit rushed, but it's just there's so much here that yeah, if we spent so much time on each individual thing, we would have been here for hours, and the video just would have been way too long. But yeah, that being said, I think there is a lot to learn from watching other people's builds and studying other people's builds. I mean, yeah, B-Dubs is just, yeah, there's so much to learn from him. I mean, like he says,
if not been area, are you around much? Then it can spawn.
But I think it is important to kind of do your own thing and break the norms, kind of try to come up with your own style and stuff like that. However, there are some things that will just elevate your build from a 5 to a 7. Terraforming, for example, will bring your build from a 4 to an 8 automatically, just making it feel like it's set on top of the land to being incorporated into that area. Gradients and terraforming, just like the build behind me, like it looks like it's been weathered and battered and it's been sitting there for hundreds of years perhaps, and that just adds so much life to it. And I think that's amazing. If the entire facade behind me was just completely white, it wouldn't look that great. It would look pretty pants, honestly. And so that's definitely something that takes a long time to figure out, and I definitely would have not been able to learn this hadn't I not been able to study other people's building and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my progression so far. I mean, I have a lot more to learn. But yeah, I'm hoping at least some of these tips and tricks are useful. I mean, I feel like I just kind of spouted basic knowledge and stuff like that, basic information, but I'm hoping at least some of it's somewhat useful. But yeah, this world is actually really, really special to me. I've spent thousands of hours on here watching my favorite YouTubers, trying to emulate their style and learning from them and trying to find my own style through that. And I still don't really have my own style yet, or at least I haven't really found it yet. But it's really fun to experiment with all kinds of different ones and coming up with new ones and yeah, just having fun with it. And honestly, it's really, really surreal to be making this video. I've always wanted to make YouTube videos, but I never thought I was good enough. And it was actually Mino who pushed me to actually start making this channel. But before meeting Mino and Pax, I never had friends before. Yeah, just stuff with my past. So I was always on this world trying to keep myself entertained, pretending to be a YouTuber. I mean, yeah, we've all pretended that. But pretending to film a video or be streaming, interacting with chat, that sounds really fucking pathetic, actually. I should probably cut that out. But yeah, this doesn't have to do with building, but what I'm trying to say is, if you want to do something in your life, if you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, or just want to learn a new skill, or whatever it may be, just do it. You don't know what's going to happen. It could lead to something. Maybe it won't. You don't know, unless you try. So just do it. I don't know about you, but I'd rather live today knowing that I'm not going to regret it tomorrow. But yeah, I think we spent a long time in this world. I mean, this video is already getting pretty long, so I think we should head back over to the time machine and head on back home to CypherCraft. So yeah, just take one last look at this place. Goodbye, world. There we go, back to Lagos. Alright, let's head on back home. I'm ready to see Mocha again. Alright, put this back in. Alright, and